What is good, YouTube? It's your boy 50K Clay. I am Clay Will, and we are back tapped in with yet another video, man. I'm back restored into full health, man. As y'all can see, I'm looking good. My skin glowing. How y'all doing, man? I never make the time to check in on y'all. How are y'all doing? Let me know in the comment section. And also be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you see this video as well. We building the community, and also I wanted to express gratitude for us hitting over 1,000 subscribers, man. I'm super grateful for that. Let's continue to grow and build this community. I really appreciate y'all for tapping in. Now let's get into the topic of conversation. So, Bay Area rapper LaRussell came on a podcast. He did an interview, and in it, he actually talked about how he has grown a disdain for Lil Wayne in his older age, because he can look back and be like, man, Lil Wayne didn't put nothing of substance in his music. Take a look.
Grew a disdain for Wayne just because I started listening to everything. Like, I started maturing as a human, and I'm like, damn, this nigga wasn't talking about nothing. As someone who like grew up in these communities, right, and grew up with homies who I seen want to be Bloods because they following Wayne and want to be gangster and want to shoot all the gun bar and shit. Right. Like, I've seen the negative that he contributed to the community, and I had to look like, man, what are the songs where he really talked about something and gave? And out of a 1,000-song catalog, you know, it's minute on this end.
Now, Lil Wayne has been a subject of conversation for a while now, man. He was first initially upset that he didn't get to perform at the halftime show where Kendrick did it. So that kind of caused a big controversy and big stir up and stuff like that. People are on both sides of the fence saying, man, Kendrick should have relinquished his title to Lil Wayne, and Lil Wayne should have been the one performing. And then on the other hand, people are saying Kendrick had a magnificent year. It's his time, let Kendrick shine. And also following that, just recently, he was the topic of conversation because he had put out a tweet saying that he didn't get a chance to be at the Grammy Awards. He wasn't nominated for anything, so he was kind of upset about that. So, you know, that was a topic of conversation for a little bit. But also, his name has reemerged again with the rapper LaRussell basically saying his music had no substance. In the interview, he mentioned how he promoted drug addiction, he promoted gang violence, and he promoted sipping lean in his music. And it was very few occurrences where he did actually shed light on an interesting topic or give something back to his consumer base, something of substance. Firstly, let's talk about it. Lil Wayne has thousands of songs. He has a career spanning since he was 8 years old, since he was 11 years old, since he was a kid with the Hot Boys. So over that time, and that's not even to mention how many unreleased songs he has, but over that time, he's released dozens of albums, he's released dozens of mixtapes, he's done dozens of features. He is a prolific artist who has a lot of extreme output. Now, let's be real. Can we catalog 50 songs? 50, bare minimum. Can we catalog 50 songs where Lil Wayne actually touched on some important subject matter? And I'm going to be so real. I don't think it's possible. I don't think we can. Now, that's not to take away from Lil Wayne's ability as an MC. We all know Lil Wayne is a dope rapper. He's extremely talented. His metaphors and his wordplay and his creativity, it's something to be admired. But can we genuinely say Lil Wayne had songs with extreme substance in them? No, we can't if we just being objective and honest. Lil Wayne was the most popping rapper at a time. At a certain point in time in hip-hop, Lil Wayne was the #1 guy. And a lot of his music contained just those same things. He talked about sex, and he talked about violence, and he talked about, you know, how many guns he had and this, that, and the third. That was the thematic nature of his lyrics. I got a video coming out soon. Just wait on it. I got a video talking about to what extent are rappers culpable for their lyrics and their subject matter and stuff like that. Is it the fault of the parents, or is it the fault of the rapper, or maybe both, for what lyrics get heard from the consumer? And we got to remember that children are very impressionable. So I mentioned that he was the biggest artist in the world at one point, to say that millions of people and then millions of kids are listening to him, and children are very impressionable. They're gonna take apart your lyrics, especially if they're hearing it every day. Music is frequencies. Music is mantras. So if people are hearing the same things over and over in their head, and they're over and over in their head, and they're ingesting your subject matter, what message are they getting from it? And unfortunately, I could see how LaRussell would say that my friends basically got the message that drug addiction is cool, sipping lean is cool. You know what I'm saying? Of course they gonna hear that from the most popular rapper at the time. Lil Wayne made no secret of what kind of gang he was affiliated with. So you get that, you combine the most popular rapper in the world with young impressionable kids, and you know, him mentioning his affiliation, the things that he does on a regular basis, the people that he engages with. What's the takeaway from that? And unfortunately, in this case, it's not necessarily all that good. Now, does that take away from Wayne's ability as an MC? Of course not. But we got to call a spade a spade. I made a video a while back and I was talking about Lil Yachty and his controversial George Floyd lyrics. And I mentioned how somebody like Lil Wayne was the same as Lil Yachty. Both of them got famous at a relatively young age. So an age where their brains wasn't fully developed. So they didn't have to go through the same typical struggles that everybody else. They've been famous for Lil Wayne his whole adult life. And Lil Yachty is the same too. For both of these artists, they've been famous for their whole adult lives, so that's gonna shape their perspective on the world. And in the interview with the Hollywood Reporter, Lil Wayne basically said that I'm not worried about Black Lives Matter. All I know is my Black Life matters.
I am a young, black, rich. If that don't let you know that America understands Black matter these days, I don't know what it is. Don't come at me with that dumb man. My life matter, especially to my.
Do you separate yourself from it?
I don't feel connected to a damn thing that ain't got nothing to do with me. If you do, you crazy.
And whatever lies outside of that is what it is. Like, I can't control that. That's not my world. That's not what I'm a part of. And as a black man to say that, you would think, man, look, Lil Wayne is tripping. How could he on his platform go out his way to say that, he's not caring about the Black Lives Matter movement? But that's just the reality of him. He hasn't had the same experiences as a typical person, as a typical black American. He's been privileged his whole life. And we're having these conversations. We have to give him some demerits in that. When we talking about Lil Wayne's legacy and, how influential of an artist he is and how important of an artist he is, we have to acknowledge at the same time that he adamantly stood on nothing. You know how people say, I'm standing on business? Lil Wayne stood on nothing. And even just before that Hollywood Reporter interview, he mentioned an Emmett Till line, one of the worst lines maybe in all of hip-hop history. It's being hotly debated, and I know for sure, in my opinion, it's up there. He said he was going, listen, I'm not even going to regurgitate the lyrics, but it was something extremely disrespectful and extremely insensitive. To let that line come from your consciousness and to actively make an effort to put that song out with that line in there, it's embarrassment as a black man. When we talk about the greatest hip-hop artist of all time, you know what I'm saying, we got to have that conversation. We talk about Tupac. We talk about Ice Cube. We talk about Kendrick. We talk about Jay-Z even. At least they made acknowledgments. Kanye West, they made acknowledgments of the world outside of their rich surroundings. Lil Wayne has never been one of those type of artists. And I know people are going to say, oh yeah, he made this song, he did this song, this, that, and the third. But of his massive catalog, if he has less than 50 songs with some semblance of subject matter, then the ratio far outweighs what he put out, what negativity he kind of put out. And don't get me wrong, it's entertaining negativity. Everybody, has a Lil Wayne song that they know, be it, from whatever artist. If you're a hip-hop fan and you're accepting of all type of artists from all type of generations, then you have a Lil Wayne song that you listen to or that you heard on the radio. Like I said, Lil Wayne was massive at one point. From maybe it be the Carter 2 era or the Carter 3 era Wayne or the Carter 4 era Wayne. Whatever era Wayne it is, you know, he's played a memorable role in hip hop, but not once in that single time has he really just stood on something bigger than himself. He's a dope artist, don't get me wrong. The facts is the facts. And I remember even vividly, it was a time when Lil Wayne would be catching the most slander. People were actually able to move on from Lil Wayne. At first, it was Lil Wayne. He was the butt of all the jokes. In every YouTube comment section of any rap song, they would always be clowning Lil Wayne and being like, Lil Wayne ain't Tupac. Eminem wrote the bill. I know y'all remember these memes. But they actually were able to move on from Lil Wayne and move on to his sons. When that 2014 era came around, when Lil Wayne respectfully started to be faded out, you know what I'm saying? Phased out, man. People who had his time. He had his run at the top, and it was a new crop of artists coming in, Lil Wayne's sons. People like Young Thug around that era, Rich Homie Quan, people that have made it abundantly clear Lil Wayne was the guy that influenced me. Waka Flocka and stuff like that. When that wave started coming in, people will start shifting their attention from Lil Wayne being the cause of the downfall of hip hop to it being these guys. And then that's even compounded further when the whole mumble rap movement came in. That's when Lil Wayne was no longer considered the face of being a problem for hip hop. People like Lil Pump, Lil Uzi, old heads now had a whole genre, a whole subgenre of rap to focus their vitriol to. It wasn't just Lil Wayne no more. If y'all remember, Lil Wayne was catching the most slack of anybody in hip hop, period. He was that guy that was getting memed on and clowned on and this, that, and the third. When the whole mumble rap generation stepped in, then they start getting it. And like I said, these are Lil Wayne's sons. Tattooed on the face, dreads, tattoos everywhere, smoking weed and stuff like that. These are the artists that Lil Wayne influenced. And for better or worse, that is the case. Even the name Lil, it was no Lil rapper before Lil Wayne. So Lil Babies, Lil Pumps, Lil Yachty's, they all were inspired by Lil Wayne. And on one hand, that's a good thing that, you know, his influence was able to change a lot of people's lives. But at the same time, the type of artists that we talk about, are they the type of rappers that bring substance to the genre? Are they the type of artists that make people think critically? I'm asking, to what extent is Lil Wayne responsible for more rappers that have a lack of substance in their music? I mean, look at Cardi. You know, Cardi don't say nothing in his music, but he's one of the most popular rappers right now. Cardi's whole swag is late 2000s Wayne. From the dreads to the poses and all that. And you got an even song called Like Wheezy, making it abundantly clear where he gets his influence from. So to what extent is Lil Wayne responsible for hip-hop moving in the direction that it did? Whether it be artists getting their influence from Cardi, who got his influence from Wayne. Whether it be artists who got their start, like Lil Baby and Gunna, who got their start from Young Thug, who was influenced by Lil Wayne. And even Young Thug naming the album Barter 6, his influence is palpable. Who's to say it's a good or a bad one? On the opposite hand, he did introduce the world to artists like Drake and Nicki Minaj. And that whole Young Money thing, the way it kind of went, where all these people are damn near right-wing grifters at this point. But at one point in time, they were the first family of hip-hop. Lil Wayne, Drake, Nicki Minaj, and the whole Young Money team. At one point, they were really putting on for the genre, making massive hits, smash bangers of albums. But, you know, it's interesting the way that whole Young Money thing turned out. Like, it's just crazy how the whole shit flipped. At one point they were the first family, and now the house is divided. You got one sister over here, she's a Trump supporter. You got Drake and his streamer, like weird rapping like you trying to get the slaves free type of bag. And then you got Wayne himself groveling to be accepted at the Grammys. And now this is his legacy. This is how he is repaid in hip hop. But bigger than that, my question is all the people that every once in a while, Lil Wayne gets some kind of slander. Like I said, he was outside for, people were arguing that he should have been in New Orleans over Kendrick, had his little feud with the Grammys, and now this. And every single time, Lil Wayne has supporters going crazy. Lil Wayne, how dare you say this about Lil Wayne? Lil Wayne is this, that, and the third. But my thing is, where do you people be at when it's time to buy some albums? When it's time to really genuinely show support? Are y'all people at his shows that he show up late to? Or that he half-heartedly performs at? Or, where he looking, respectfully, looking drugged out and stuff like that? Are y'all at those shows? You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to be overtly supportive on the internet, but it's a whole different thing to actually really acknowledge what kind of turned into in his older age. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like those people aren't really being objective. Yes, Lil Wayne is a dope MC and he's a very credible rapper, one of the greatest rappers of all time. And not only one of the greatest, one of the most prolific rappers of all time. But we also have to acknowledge that's a whole different side of the argument. We can acknowledge his influence. Yes, his fashion influence, his tattoo influence, his style influence, his rapping ability influence. But at the same time, these are just honest conversations that's genuinely just needs to be had, just to start a dialogue, just to acknowledge it. LaRussell kind of took back his original quote and he kind of, ran it back or whatever.
I meant no malice. Like, nigga, I love Lil Wayne. I would never diss that nigga legacy. Like, that nigga mean too much to me, right? But that's me living in me. Like, I know when I said it, I meant that. But perspective is key because how it's received don't always be how you sent it.
It was some truth to his original argument, man, and that can't not be acknowledged. That'd be my thing. Let me know what y'all think about this whole Wayne debacle in the first place. Is what LaRussell said true? Or does Lil Wayne have more songs of substance than I actually think? Maybe I'm underrating him. Maybe he does have more than 50. Now, I know for a fact that he still got more than 2,000 songs where he's rapping about nothing. But maybe I'm underrating him. Maybe he has 20, maybe he has 100 songs where he's rapping about something with substance. So y'all let me know in the comments, man. I really want to say I appreciate y'all for watching. Thank y'all again for helping me get to 1,000 subscribers. The next goal is 10,000. We just going to keep running up these goals until we get to where we want to be. And most importantly, for me, I'm trying to build a community. So hop on board if you're trying to join this community as well. I love having the conversations with y'all. I love replying to the comments. I'm super grateful for all the support you guys have given me. I really genuinely appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And I look forward to hearing from y'all again. So with that being said, man, thank you guys so much for watching. We out.